Hi guys, it's Lynn with Curiosity Crochet. Thanks for coming today. We're gonna make this one today. This is the one that I had posted, if any of you guys saw it on Facebook, that everybody was interested in. So we're gonna work this one up today. You can always add a pom-pom. That's always whatever you'd like it to be. And the brim is quite simple. It's all half double crochet. So this is going to be the easy part. This is easy too. I'm going to walk you through it. It's real easy. It is like a 3-row repeat, but it goes real fast. This works up pretty quickly, and then we'll close it up at the end. So this is Red Heart Unforgettable. And unfortunately, this is all I have left of my Red Heart Unforgettable stash. So I'm going to do it on a small scale again today, like I've done in the past, so that I can show you on the same kind of yarn. Normally there is 270 yards in their skeins, which is plenty. I think I used most of the skein, but there was a little bit left. So one skein is plenty. The one I used, I can't remember the name of it, of the color. It's not coming to me right now. If I think about it while I'm recording, I'll let you know. But I can't remember the name. But the recommended on these is 6, and it gets so thin that I never use a 6 unless I'm doing like a scarf and I want it to be super, you know, have holes in it and whatnot. So I'm going to be using a 4.5, which it's hard to see on this one, but it's 4.5 and 5. I got these new hooks, they're furls, and these are lightweight, and they're really comfortable in your hands. So if you guys are interested in different kinds of things, they have all different kinds of colors in these too. Now I got mine on Etsy because their website, a lot of the times they don't have sizes that I need or colors that I want. So you can always look these up on Etsy. And they're furls. They're called Furls Crochet, F-U-R-L-S. And I'm telling you, the Odyssey ones are made of metal, so they're a little heavier. These are the streamline ones, and they are amazing. So, yeah, you'll need a 4.5 and a 5 if you're using this same yarn. If you want to use a different yarn, that is totally fine. I thought about using a different yarn, showing you how it works up with different kinds of yarns. But I figured this is a good way for me to use this last little bit up. So, but you can use any weight, you can use any color, any whatever. I think variegated would be good though on this particular project, because we're not switching colors and whatnot, but you can always do whatever you want to do. But if you're going to use a different kind of yarn, my suggestion is just look at what the recommended hook size is. For 4 weight, you can use the 4.5 and 5 because it's gonna turn out the same. If you're gonna use like a 5 weight, just go down like a size of the recommended for the brim, and then use the recommended for the top part of the hat. And then 6, do the same thing. If you're gonna use like a bulky, like chunky weight, like bulky 6 weight, just do one size smaller for the brim and the recommended for the top part, and it should work out fine. Let me get everything put together. I mean, obviously you need your scissors, your needle, and I always suggest a tape measure because I don't go by rows, I go by the measurement. It's just easier that way, especially since I tell you guys you can use whatever yarn you want. And not every 4 weight, not every 5 weight, not every 6 weight is created equally. They are always, you know, different brands, different types. They're a little bit different. So let's gather our materials and we'll meet back up and get going. Okay, we're going to start with the brim. And the brim is super simple. I'm going to show you. Start with a slip knot. with your 4.5mm. Well, if I could grab it, I'm having issues today. Every day, if you notice, I'm always having issues. But we are going to chain 11. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. And now what we're going to do is we're going to skip the first chain and we're going to half double crochet into the next. And we're not giving it too much of a builder because we don't really need it with this. So we're just using a chain 1, and we're half double crocheting in each chain all the way across. Now if you want to do your brim with single crochet, doing it this same way, that's totally fine too. It's personal preference sometimes with things like this. So if you'd rather do single crochet across, go ahead and do single crochet, because the half double crochet gives you a little bit more of a pull, so you don't need as many, plus it works up, you know, the stitch is bigger, so you don't have to do as many rows either back and forth with the half double. But like I said, if you want to do the single, it's totally fine. But once you come to the end, you're going to chain your 1, and then we're going to half double crochet in the back loop only. So we're not gonna go in both loops like that. And if you look at it, this here is your front loop, and this here is your back loop. So we're going to work in those back loops, and we're going to half double crochet in the back loop only, of all these stitches all the way across until we get to the end. Sometimes it's a little awkward for me to crochet with the camera over me, so I apologize if this gets a little wonky sometimes, watching me try to. So when you come to the end, be careful, don't miss these stitches, because you don't want your brim to like come into a V. So you don't want to miss these stitches. So you've got one more back loop to do here. And then this last stitch here, we're going to go through both loops. Just on the last stitch of each row, we're going to go through both loops and do the half double. Because it just, on each side, it gives it a little cleaner edge. So like sometimes I do it in the first and last. For this particular one, we're just going to do the last stitch. So then chain your 1, and again we're going to go into this back loop. So here's your V, and we're going to go into that back loop there and do your half double. And you're going to do this all the way down to your last stitch. And then when you get to your last stitch, you're going to go through both loops. Now, this is what you're going to do, is repeat this back and forth until you get it to a diameter of 18 to 20 inches. If it's for someone with a larger head, then you're going to go a little bigger. So you're going to go 21 to 22 inches. If you're making it child size, you want to do about 16 to 18 inches, just depending. I wouldn't go all the way up to 18 for child because this gets pretty stretchy. I'd say 16 or 17 inches. So you're just going to go back and forth And then you're going to take your tape measure and measure it out to wherever you need it to be. And then once you're done with that, we'll come back and we'll connect it and we will get started on the top part. Oh, and it does need to be a multiple of 2. So how many ever rows you do, that just means you need to have a multiple of 2. So 2, 4, 6, 8, like that. So make sure, basically make sure it's an even number of rows. That for this one, it's pretty easy. So go ahead and do that. I'm gonna make up a small brim that I can, because I'm just doing this small for you guys. So when we come back, I'm gonna have a little bit different of a brim. Pay no attention to that. And I'll show you real quick on this how to connect it, and then it'll be a little different. But then we'll get going on the rest of it. So I'll meet you back. Okay, now mine's really small because I'm just going to show you how to attach it, because I'm going to do a little different of a brim because I don't have really a lot to work with here. But once you get your multiple of 2 in the length that you need it to be, what we're going to do is make sure your loop, when you're holding it, is on your right side here, and you're gonna pull your end up this way and match it up, and you're gonna go into this first chain from where we started, and you're gonna grab this loop, pull that tight, pull that through to this side, and you're gonna chain 1. Now you're gonna go right back into that one that we slip stitched that to. We're gonna go in that one, and we're gonna come back here and go in this first stitch on this side, and we're gonna slip stitch, and we're gonna do that all the way down. So go in the next one and find the next one on the other side, pull it through, and slip stitch that, and that's what we're gonna repeat all the way down. We're just gonna slip stitch them all the way to the end, and then it'll be attached. And then I want you to flip it inside out when you get yours done, so that it's out this way, and then you'll work around the top from where you're at. So go ahead and get that done, and I will meet you back with my brim, and we'll get started with the top. And make sure when we start the top, you switch your hook to the bigger size. Okay, so I'll meet you right. Okay, once you get your brim put together and it's all flipped inside out, and you've got your at the top of your work now, this is a 3-row repeat, but it's really easy, so it's gonna work out nice, and you're gonna be able to work through it really quick, I promise. I'm gonna show it to you. If you need to, write down as I show you so that you know what 3 rows it is. And the only reason I say that is because I know how I am, and sometimes I get forgetful, so I have to write things down. If you have a great memory, this will be super easy then. So what we're going to do for the first row of the repeat is we're going to chain 2. Every row on this is a chain 2. So that's easy to remember, right? And we are simply going to half double crochet in every stitch. Don't forget to go in the one that, and you guys have rows, so you're just going to go into every single row at the top of each row. You're just going to find the top of each row and put a half double crochet in the top of each row. Now, you should have the same amount of stitches as rows you made when you get to the end. And because I have different, I can't really show you. It would have taken me too long to get that put together, and I don't have enough yarn to do all that, so I wanted to do something that I could show you quickly. I could get you through the pattern and you could get going on your hat. So you should be able to differentiate, oh my lord, differentiate the top of your rows. You should be able to see it. And it doesn't have to be perfect. Just look for the top of the rows and put a stitch in the top of each row, and then you'll be golden. So just remember, you have to have the same amount of stitches as rows that you made. Okay? And then we will meet back up after that. So get that row done, and then we'll meet back. Okay, once you come back around and you've got your half double crochet row done, and like I said, just try to find the top of your rows, and if it doesn't make sense to you, just evenly place the stitches around the top and just make sure you have the same amount of stitches as you did rows, and it'll work out fine. But then we're going to find the top of the first half double, and we're going to slip stitch into that first stitch to connect it. And then, like I said, you're going to chain 2 for every row. Now this next row is literally the hardest row, and it's not even hard. So I'm gonna walk you through it right now. So you're going to skip this first stitch to begin with. Don't worry about your chain 3 here. Go to this stitch, and you're going to skip that one and go to the next. And you're going to yarn over, and we're going to do a front post double crochet around that second one. And then we're going to cross back to that one that we skipped. So for a front post, you're going to yarn over, and you're going to go in the front and come around that post, and then finish your double crochet. And then you get that little X. Now I did something like this in one of my other hats, but this one's a little bit different. It turns out a little bit different. So then we're gonna skip this next one again and go into the next, and we're gonna do that front post double crochet. And then we're gonna double back and do a front post around the one we skipped. And then we get a little X going on. Well, then we get a little X going on. So I'm going to show you that one more time, because this is what we're going to do all the way around for this is the second row of the repeat. You're going to skip the next, and you're going to do a front post double crochet around that following one, and then you're going to double back to the one you skipped and do another front post. So that's what you're going to repeat all the way around. You get these little X's. So for row 2 of the repeat, you're just going to do that all the way around. So first row is just half doubles. Second row is this. And actually that first row of half doubles was just our base. So technically this is the first row of our repeat, because this is where it's going to start, is this one. I forgot that that was our base. So this first row was just our base, but there is another row of just half doubles after this row. So let's count this as row 1 of our repeat, is the X's. So do this all the way around, and then when we come back, I'll show you, we're just going to do half double crochet around, and then there's one more row of the repeat, and we'll go over all of it. So go ahead and do your X's, and we'll meet back. Okay, when you come back around, you should end with one last X, because that's why we have multiples of 2, and then you'll have your chain 3. So don't worry about that. Now, I just want to say I'm sorry if I confused you guys with the whole row thing. So if you were writing it down, just scratch it out and start with that your X row is row 1 of the repeat. I really apologize for that. Sometimes I forget what I've started and how I've ended and in between. I mean, I'm human. But we're going to slip stitch into the top of that first half double. So you just have to kind of pull it over a little bit, because your crossed one is over here. So your very first one is right there by the chain 2. So now row 2 of the repeat is your regular half double. So you're just gonna make sure you go in that same stitch you slip stitched in, so you don't throw off your count. And then you are just going to half double crochet all the way around. And half double is just pulling it through all 3. So you yarn over, go in, and pull through all 3. I should have showed you that on the first row, but I just always assume that you guys know these stitches at the, you know, if you're making a hat or whatnot. Like the front posts and stuff like that, I like to show you. But the basic stitches, I figure you guys have to know that because you're rock stars. So yeah, so just half double all the way around for this row. And then I'll show you row 3 of the repeat. And then I'm going to let you guys go do your thing, and I'll let you know the inches and stuff for the height. So we'll meet back up as soon as we get done with this row. Okay, when you come back around, you'll have this last half double in your last cross, which makes it nice and easy to know you've done it properly. And we're gonna slip stitch into the top of that first half double. And we're gonna chain 2 again. Remember, every row is chain 2 on this one. Now what we're gonna do, and this row is what creates these ridges in the hat. This is the row right here. We're gonna do it. We're gonna turn it, and we are gonna work in these back loops, the third loop of your half double. So these on the top are your 2 regular ones, and if you turn it, you can see there's an extra loop back here, and that's what we're going to work in. And make sure you don't miss this first one here, because sometimes you can miss this first one, but we're going to turn it, and this first one is right here, and we're going to half double crochet right into that. So we're going to grab that loop, and we're going to do our half double crochet into that. And find your next one. It's right here. And once you get going, they just kind of pop out for you. There's your next one. And then the next. And then you're just going to work that all the way around. And see how it gives it a little bit of a popped out ridge? That's what's going to be in between these. So it turns out real pretty. So that is your row 3 of the repeat. So row 1 is your X's. Row 2 is your half double crochet row. And then row 3 is the half double crochets in the third loop. And you're just going to repeat those 3 rows over and over, over and over. I think I did, let's count together. We did 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 is what we did. I repeated it 6 times. Now, if you're using if you're using the same yarn, it's probably what you can do if you want it to be this height. And I think I brought it to about 7 inches. Let's see. Well, it was about 6 inches, and then I did the closing. So 6, 7 inches. If you want it to be nice and snug beanie. If you want it to have a little bit of room, do about 8 inches. If you want it to be slouchy, 9, 10 inches. But make sure you land on your, you do all 3 rows basically. So you land on that third loop is where you're gonna end it right here. And then we'll start the decrease together. So go ahead and get your height where you want it to be. And then we will decrease it together. So finish up your rows. and get it to the height you want it to be. And we will meet back up and close the top together. Okay, I noticed something. I want you to end actually on the regular half double crochet row, or end on the cross, and then we're going to decrease with the half doubles here. So end with the cross row. So you're going to do one more row after your third loop and do the one more cross, and then we're going to decrease. Because I was trying to remember how I did this, because like a numbskull, I didn't write it down. So if you come back to the video and you've ended on your third loop row, just do one more row of the X's, because it's only going to add a little bit to your hat. Instead of pulling all that out, just add one more row of the X row, and then we're going to decrease. So that's where we're going to do our decrease. Now I'm going to show you on this little thing right here, and we'll get going in just a minute. Okay guys, sorry about that. I know if you've watched my videos, I have a small house, but we have lots of love, and I do this in my kitchen. So when people come through here, sometimes I have to put a pin in it and then come back. And my husband was dancing for me, so yeah, I had to put a pin in that for a minute. So now we're going to decrease. And we're still going to chain 2 to begin with. And what we're going to do is we're going to do one half double crochet in the first stitch. Make sure you put that in where you slip stitched. Then we're going to do another one in the next stitch. So you're going to do 2 in a row, and then we're going to put 2 together. And this is the way I do half double. I yarn over, I pull up a loop, and then I just go into the next and pull up a loop, and you'll have 4 loops, and you pull it together. So that's your half double decrease. So you're going to do 2 in a row. So 1 half double in the next 2 stitches, and then you're going to pull 2 together. So yarn over, go in, pull up a loop, and then just go in and pull up a loop. You'll have 4 loops, and you pull through all 4 of those loops. So that's what you're going to do for the first row of the decrease. You're just going to do 2 half doubles and a decrease, 2 half doubles and a decrease. And then we'll meet back up and do the next. Okay, and then when you come back around, you'll slip stitch into the first half double like always. And now this row, I did a simple decrease on this one too, because there's so much going on with the pattern. You don't need much at the top. So now you're just going to do 1 half double and then a decrease over the next 2. So 1 half double and then a decrease. Now, if it's, because everybody, especially if you're using different yarn, if you don't have where it ends up even, like if you come up at the end of the row and you still have 1 stitch left, or you have 2, you can just add in 1 more or just do another decrease, because when you're decreasing the stitch count, I apologized like 14 times in this video, and I'm sorry, but your last row is your last decrease row is going to be 2 together all the way around. So it'll be just that decrease in every stitch around till you bring it into this, small hole. And I'm trying to rush right now because my camera keeps messing up, but you'll slip stitch and close off, and then you're just going to go around every post. Now, if you need a more detailed, description of how to cinch up, just go over to one of my other videos, because I always show it, and just fast forward to the end and I show you how to cinch it up if you don't know how. If you know how, just cinch it up however you would like to. And then I hope that your hat has turned out amazing. Okay, I just want to apologize. I'm having problems with my camera today and my storage or whatnot. So just cinch it up however you know how to cinch it up. If you don't know how to cinch it up, watch one of my other videos, because and just fast forward to the end, because I always show it at the end. But I really appreciate you being here. I hope your hat turned out the way you wanted it to, with whatever yarn you used. And I really am glad that any of you watch these videos and make hats with me, because I think it's fun. So don't forget to like and subscribe, and I will see you in the next video, and hopefully I'm going to get a new camera soon. So y'all have a great day, okay?